Introduction, your first step to speaking with ease. Hello and welcome. I want to start by acknowledging something you might be feeling right now. For many people, the number one fear isn't heights or spiders or even death. It's public speaking. It's that feeling of all eyes in the room turning to you. The heart starts to beat a little faster, the palms get a little sweaty, and that brilliant idea you had in your head suddenly feels a million miles away. If that sounds even remotely familiar, I want you to know two things. First, you are not alone. And second, that feeling is completely normal. This guide was created for you. It's for anyone who believes they have good ideas but struggles to share them with a group. Now let's set a clear and honest goal for our time together. The promise of this video is not to transform you into a world-class orator overnight. That's an unfair and unrealistic expectation. The goal is much simpler and I think much more helpful. My promise is to give you a few simple, powerful rules that will make your very next presentation manageable. The goal is to make it feel less scary. The goal is to give you the tools to make it successful on your own terms. We are not chasing perfection today. We are taking the first, most important steps toward progress and confidence. To get there, we'll use a simple three-part framework. This is our roadmap for the next 30 minutes. First, we'll focus on the single most important goal of any speech. This one core idea will help you cut through the noise and anxiety and focus on what truly matters when you communicate. Understanding this will change how you approach every presentation you give. Second, I'll give you a dead simple one-page template for building your message. No more staring at a blank page wondering how to begin. This is a clear, repeatable structure that will help you organize your thoughts logically and powerfully. And third, we'll cover the three basic physical actions to help you look and sound confident, even when you're feeling nervous on the inside. These aren't complicated tricks. They are simple foundational techniques for your posture, your breathing, and your eye contact that project calmness and control. So, if you're ready to finally make peace with public speaking and learn how to share your voice with the world, let's get started. Part 1. The one goal. Connection, not perfection. All right, let's dive into the single most important mindset shift you can make as a speaker. But first, I want you to think about the last time you had to prepare for a presentation. What was the image in your head of a good speaker? Was it someone on a huge stage with a flawless, memorized speech, not a single or ah, delivering every line like an actor in a movie? Most of us hold this impossible standard in our minds. We think we need to be perfect. I am here to tell you with absolute certainty that this is a myth, and it is the single biggest source of our anxiety. Your audience does not expect a flawless Hollywood-level performance. Think about the people who will be listening to you. They are your colleagues, your clients, your classmates. They are human beings. They have sat through meetings where they've stumbled over their own words. They have forgotten a key point in a conversation. They know what it's like to feel a little nervous. They are not waiting for you to fail. In fact, most of the time, they are silently rooting for you to succeed. Authenticity is so much more powerful than perfection. A speaker who never pauses, never has to search for a word, and never shows a moment of vulnerability can actually feel distant, robotic, and hard to connect with. But a speaker who is clearly passionate about their topic and maybe stumbles on a word or two because they're so excited to share their idea, that person is real. That person is relatable. We trust that person more. So the first step is to give yourself permission to be human. Let go of the impossible burden of perfection. So if our goal isn't to be perfect, what is it? This brings us to the core of this lesson. As a speaker, you have one true job, one primary goal that should guide every choice you make. Your job is to make a connection with the audience and successfully transfer a single valuable idea to them. That's it. Let's break that down. First, connection. This means seeing the people in front of you not as a scary, judgmental crowd, but as partners in a conversation. You are there to share something with them, and they are there to receive it. It's a two-way street, even if you're the only one talking. Second, transferring a single, valuable idea. Notice I said a single idea. The biggest mistake nervous speakers make is trying to say everything. They cram their presentations with dozens of facts and figures, hoping that more information will make them sound smarter. But it does the opposite. It confuses the audience and guarantees they'll remember almost nothing. A great speech is focused. It has one central message, one core takeaway that you want your audience to walk away with. Your entire presentation is simply in service of delivering that one idea clearly and memorably. Think of it like this. You have a wonderful, important gift you want to give to a friend. That gift is your core idea. Your speech is just the process of handing it to them. You want to make sure they see it, understand what it is, and accept it. You aren't worried about whether you handed it to them with perfect posture or flawless grammar. You're just focused on the successful delivery of the gift. That is your only job. Understanding this leads us to the most practical and powerful tool for reducing speaking anxiety, the mental shift. Most of our fear comes from being self-conscious. Our internal monologue is running wild. We're asking questions like, how do I look? Is my voice shaking? Am I talking too fast? What if they think my idea is stupid? Did I just say, again? Do you notice what all of these questions have in common? They are all about me. They are self-focused. I want you to consciously and deliberately change the question you ask yourself. Instead of asking, how am I doing? I want you to start asking, how is my audience doing? Instead of, how do I look? Ask, how can I help my audience understand this one idea? This simple change is a complete game changer. It shifts your focus from self-consciousness to service. It moves your energy from a place of fear to a place of generosity. Suddenly, the presentation is no longer about you and your performance. It's about them. It's about your desire to help them, to inform them, to give them that valuable idea. Your nervous energy doesn't just disappear, but it gets rechanneled. It transforms into service energy. You become a guide, a teacher, a helpful colleague, rather than a performer on a stage being judged. So as we move forward, I want you to hold this one goal in your mind. Your job is connection, not perfection. Your mission is to serve your audience by giving them one idea that matters. If you can remember that, you are already halfway to becoming a more confident, calm, and effective speaker. Part 2. The one-page plan, a simple structure for any talk. Now that we have the right mindset focusing on connection, not perfection, let's build the practical tool that will bring that mindset to life. So many of us get overwhelmed before we even begin. We sit down in front of a blank document and our minds go blank too. We think we need to write out a long, detailed script, and the pressure of that task alone can be paralyzing. So I'm going to give you a simple rule that will instantly cut through that overwhelm. It's called the rule of one page. It's exactly what it sounds like. If your notes for your presentation don't fit on one single page, your talk is too complicated. I want you to let that sink in. This isn't about limiting you, it's about liberating you. More notes do not equal more confidence. In fact, pages and pages of notes often create more anxiety because they're impossible to follow while you're trying to connect with an audience. What you need is not a script. What you need is a map. A simple, clear map that you can glance at to know exactly where you are and where you need to go next. One page. That's our promise. So what goes on this one magical page? We're going to use a beautifully simple structure that works for almost any talk, from a 5-minute team update to a 30-minute presentation. It has 3 parts: a top, a middle, and a bottom. Let's start at the top. At the very top of your page, I want you to write your big idea. This is the one single clear sentence that you want your audience to remember if they forget everything else. This is the core message we talked about in part 1. It must be a complete sentence. Not just a topic like marketing strategy, but a full thought, like our new marketing strategy will focus on direct community engagement to build lasting trust. Writing this down first forces you to have absolute clarity on your purpose. This sentence is your North Star for the entire talk. Next, we move to the middle of the page. Here, you are going to write 3 bullet points. Just 3. Not 2, not 5, not 7. 3. Why 3? Because the human brain loves the number 3. It feels complete, balanced, and is incredibly easy to remember, both for you and for your audience. Each of these 3 bullet points is a key idea, a story, or a piece of evidence that supports your big idea at the top. So if my big idea is, our new marketing strategy will focus on direct community engagement to build lasting trust, my 3 bullet points might be: first, host monthly workshops; second, create a customer feedback council; and third, spotlight a customer story in our weekly newsletter. These are not full sentences. They are just simple signposts. They are memory triggers for the points you want to make. Finally, we go to the bottom of the page. Here, you are going to write your closing sentence. And your closing sentence should be almost identical to the big idea you wrote at the top. You are bringing the entire conversation full circle. This technique is called bookending, and it is incredibly powerful. It provides a sense of closure and reinforces your main message one last time, locking it into your audience's memory. So, at the bottom of my page, I would write something like, so, as you can see, by focusing on workshops, our feedback council, and customer stories, we will build that lasting trust through direct community engagement. And that's it. That is your entire 1-page plan. A single sentence at the top, 3 key supporting ideas in the middle, and a concluding sentence at the bottom that echoes the top. The power of this structure is in its simplicity. First, it's easy for you to remember. You don't have to memorize a 20-page script. You just need to remember your one main idea and the 3 points that support it. Second, it keeps you on track. If you get nervous or lose your place, you can take a quick, calm glance at your single page and instantly know where you are. You see your 3 signposts and you know exactly what's next. And third, it prevents rambling. This structure is your best defense against going off on tangents. It forces you to be disciplined because you know that anything you say must serve one of those 3 points, and those 3 points must serve your big idea. Everything else is just noise. This 1-page plan is your foundation for confidence. It's the proof you can show yourself that you are prepared, you are organized, and you have something valuable to share. So please, for your very next talk, I encourage you to try this. Take out a single sheet of paper and build your map. You will be amazed at how much clarity and calm it can bring. Part 3, the 3 basics: breathe, plant, and look. We've worked on our mindset and we've built our 1-page map. Now we're going to focus on the physical, because when we get nervous, our body often betrays us before our mind even has a chance. The good news is that we can use simple physical actions to send a message of calm back to our brain. This isn't about faking it. It's about using your body to lead your mind into a state of confidence. And we only need to remember 3 simple things: breathe, plant, and look. Let's start with the first, And most fundamental, breathe. What's the very first thing that happens when you feel a surge of panic or anxiety? Your breathing changes. It becomes shallow, quick, and high up in your chest. This is part of our natural fight or flight response. It's your body getting ready for danger. But this kind of breathing also fuels the cycle of anxiety, making your heart beat faster and your thoughts race. We can interrupt this entire cycle with one single intentional action. Right before you are about to be introduced, or in that moment of silence just before you say your first word, I want you to do this. Take one slow, deep belly breath, not a shallow chest breath. A deep breath that makes your stomach expand. You can even practice this by putting a hand on your stomach and feeling it push out as you inhale through your nose. Hold it for just a count or two, and then slowly release it through your mouth. This single deep breath does something magical. It activates your parasympathetic nervous system, which is your body's built-in relaxation response. It sends a powerful signal to your brain that says everything is okay, we are safe, you can relax. It lowers your heart rate, clears your head, and grounds you in the present moment. One breath. That's all it takes to reset your entire nervous system. It is the simplest and most powerful tool you have. The second basic is to plant. When we're nervous, we have all this anxious energy, and it has to go somewhere. So what do? We fidget. We sway from side to side. We shift our weight from one foot to the other. We pace back and forth. This constant movement not only looks uncertain to the audience, but it also keeps that nervous energy churning inside of you. We need to give that energy a place to go, or rather, a place to stop. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to plant your feet. Stand with your feet about shoulder width apart, with your weight distributed evenly between them. Feel the soles of your shoes making firm, solid contact with the floor. Imagine that you are a tree, and you are growing roots down from your feet into the ground. You are stable. You are grounded. You are immovable. This simple physical act of planting your feet provides a solid foundation for your entire body. It stops the nervous swaying and fidgeting, which immediately makes you look more confident and composed. And just like the deep breath, it sends a signal of stability and control back to your brain. You are no longer adrift in a sea of anxiety. You are firmly anchored to the ground. And finally, our third basic, look. For many people, this is the scariest part. Looking out at a sea of faces can feel incredibly intimidating. So we do one of two things. We either stare at the back wall, the ceiling, or our shoes, which completely disconnects us from our audience. Or we try to scan the entire room, letting our eyes dart from person to person, which is overwhelming and makes it impossible to connect with anyone. We are going to make this much, much easier. Your goal is not to talk to a crowd. Your goal is to talk to a person. So, in the moments before you begin speaking, I want you to look out at the audience and find one friendly face. I promise you, there is always at least one. Find someone who is smiling or looking at you with an open, encouraging expression, or maybe even nodding. That person is your anchor. For the first 30 seconds of your talk, I want you to speak directly to that one person. That's it. Pretend it's just a one-on-one conversation. This transforms the terrifying act of public speaking into the simple, comfortable act of talking to someone. By the time those 30 seconds are over, you will have found your rhythm. You'll be past that initial wave of panic. And from there, you can begin to slowly and calmly move your gaze to another friendly face, and then another, having individual conversations with different people around the room. It all starts with one person. So let's review our 3 basics. Before you say a word, you take one deep belly breath. You plant your feet firmly on the ground, and you find one friendly face to look at. Breathe, plant, look. This is your pre-flight checklist for confidence. It takes about 5 seconds to do, and it will fundamentally change the way you begin every single presentation you give from now on. Conclusion: your speaking journey begins now. We've covered a lot of ground together in a short amount of time, but it all comes down to a few simple, powerful ideas. First, we shifted our entire goal away from the impossible myth of perfection and embraced our true purpose as a speaker, to make a connection and share a valuable idea. Second, we created a clear and simple map for our message with the one-page plan, a tool to keep us focused and prevent us from feeling overwhelmed. And finally, we learned how to command our physical presence and calm our nerves with 3 foundational basics: to breathe, to plant, and to look. If you take only one thing away from our time together, let it be this: public speaking is a skill, not a talent. No one is born a naturally gifted speaker, just as no one is born knowing how to ride a bicycle or play the piano. It is a skill that is built step by step through practice. You don't start by performing in a grand concert hall. You start by learning a few simple notes. What we have done today is learn those first few essential notes. You have learned the fundamentals. And now your journey begins with one small, simple step. I have a challenge for you. I want you to take the pressure completely off and just practice the motions. Sometime in the next day, pick a topic you genuinely love. It could be your favorite book, a hobby you're passionate about, or a funny story about your family. Then create a one-page plan for it. What's your one big idea? What are your 3 supporting points? Once you have that simple map, I want you to explain it out loud to just one person. This could be a trusted friend, your partner, or a family member. And if even that feels like too much, explain it to your pet. They are wonderful, non-judgmental listeners. The goal here isn't to give a flawless speech. The goal is simply to practice the act of structuring your thoughts and speaking them into existence in a safe space. You now have the tools. You have a kinder mindset, a simple structure for your message, and a physical checklist to keep you grounded. The path to becoming a more comfortable and effective speaker doesn't start on a big stage under bright lights. It starts right now with the decision to take that first, small step. You are more prepared than you think, and you have everything you need to begin speaking with more ease and more confidence, starting today. Thank you for sharing your time with me. Now, go share your voice with the world.